What's up guys, my name is The Games, and today Xur is in the EDZ. It's August 13th, 2021. Let's see what he's brought. As always, he's got his exotic cipher, so if you're working on previous exotics from the season passes, as well as trying to get a second exotic engram from his inventory, I say complete his exotic cipher. He's given me Ursa Furiosa, which is pretty good for endgame. 64 stat roll overall, it's pretty well balanced, but I've already got a decent pair. As you can already see, that is slightly superior. I'm going to delete this. The exotic weapon he brought for today is the Prometheus Lens. The exotic perk is called Prismatic Inferno, which fires a solar trace beam and generates a damaging heat field that grows while the weapon continues to fire. Its secondary perk is called Flame Refraction, which states that kills with this weapon return a fraction of the ammo used to the magazine from reserves, extending the beam's duration. If you want to see, it's got some ornaments that you might be able to attain from the Bright Dust engrams. If you didn't know, the Prometheus Lens also has an exotic catalyst, which increases its stability and handling. I believe you can attain this from playing strikes. The Hunter exotic for the week is called the Graviton Forfeit. Its exotic perk is Vanishing Shadow, which increases the duration of any invisibility effect. Your melee recharges faster while you're invisible. If you saw this week's swab, it's also getting a change that also increases your recovery while you're invisible, and also affects your melee cooldown while you're surrounded by enemies. This one's overall stat roll is 66. It's got some high strength, decent mobility and resilience, and some discipline. Not that much on recovery or intellect. If you don't already have one, I say you can pick this up and try it out next season, but it could have had a better distribution. The Titan exotic for this week is called Synthoceps. Its exotic perk is Biotic Enhancement, which increases melee lunge range. If you play Crucible, trust me, you'll notice this difference, and PvE. And also improves melee and super damage when you're surrounded. I don't know by how much, but it increases your super damage a hefty amount. It is GM worthy, but most people tend to lean towards Ursa Furiosa. But it's definitely an exotic that is worth getting a good roll on it. But as for the roll that Xur brought, it's got some decent amount of intellect, high mobility as well. Everything else is kind of really low. You don't really need mobility on the Titan. Everything else, I say pass on this roll, but try and get your hands on the Synthoceps for next season. I'm going to try and come out with a guide for exotics for next season that Titans should focus on, and as well as the other classes, given the changes that are coming to subclasses next season. And finally, for the Warlock, he's brought the Vesper of Radius. Its exotic perk is called Planetary Torrent, which states that Rifts release an arc shockwave when cast. Rift energy charges faster when you're surrounded by enemies. Overall stat roll is 63. Got some high discipline, decent recovery and resilience. Not bad, but I'll pass on it. This exotic kind of needs some love. Hopefully next season when they make another pass like the exotics, this one gets another look at, because it's the arc damage that comes from the shockwave is not that great, and in GMs you don't necessarily want to get close to enemies in the first place. So you can probably use this to some effect in PvP, but other than that, I don't see myself, you know, or anyone, I don't recommend this perk or this exotic. Over at the Gunsmith, today's resets brought us, in terms of mods, Surrounded spec. I believe this buffs your damage by, I think 25%, 30%. I'd have to check light.gg or D2 Gunsmith, but this is definitely worth it if you have a weapon that has Surrounded on there. It's also got Dragonfly spec, which buffs the damage and radius of Dragonfly on any weapon. I don't think it has 100% parity with Firefly, but it's worth grabbing if you have a Dragonfly weapon that you really like. Last but not least, we have Ada 1. She's brought sword reserves, and this increases the amount of sword ammo you can carry. Pick this up if you don't already have it. That's pretty much all I can say about that. And for her second mod, she's brought Chosen of the War Mine, which states that collecting or destroying a war mine creates a concussive blast that pushes enemies away. This isn't necessarily a meta build. This wouldn't necessarily be a part of a meta build for war mine cells, and unfortunately they're getting nerfed next season. So if anything, I say fill this out just in case something comes out next season that you may be interested in terms of build wise, and just to, you know, fill out your collections. But other than that, doesn't look like any mods today are worth grabbing if you don't have, you know, the mod components readily available. And that's it for today's Xur video. Let me know if you'll be picking up anything from Xur or from our tower vendors for mods. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like anything is really worth grabbing for today, but maybe check back in tomorrow and see if the Gunsmith or 801 has decided to bring anything interesting to the tower, and I'll let you know if I'm able to. I'll post a little short on that. But once again, my name is Cell Games. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate it if you drop me a like and a comment below. Let me know what you want me to cover otherwise in terms of the Destiny information. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so I can keep you informed on the Destiny space and other games I decide to cover. Have a good one.